Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Geek-Minded Fools. My name's Graham.
And I'm Scott.
We'll kick off this episode with a visit to the monkey farm.
Indeed we will, and welcome to my monkey farm of news, Graham.
Well, thank you, Scott.
You're very, very welcome. Obviously, due to the fact that we release on a weekly basis, some of our news might not necessarily be up to date, but they are definitely talking points.
Yes.
They are hot points, Graham. Hot points.
Hot topics.
Hot points, not washing machines, hot points. First off, interesting news. Do you remember a little show called Boardwalk Empire?
I do.
Okay. Now, for me, Boardwalk Empire was fabulous. I haven't seen season 5 yet, but I loved it.
It was great.
There's a brilliant Brit actor in it called Jack Houston, who played the character Richard Harrow.
Best character in it.
He is. For those of you who know Boardwalk Empire, obviously Richard Harrow is the half-faced
The man with half a
assassin.
face, whose face was either shot or blown off in the war.
It was indeed. Well, it's just been rumoured that he is going to be up for the role of the Crow.
Wow.
It's been through quite a few changes over the past year or so. This new vision of the Crow, which they're saying is going to go back to being more like the original comic that was released, which I never read. The only thing I know of the Crow is the Brandon Lee movie, which I do love. I think it's a great film. It had a great soundtrack, but I can't see anyone better right now to play the Crow than Jack Houston. Just given his performance as Richard Harrow.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just put Richard Harrow in it, couldn't you?
The funny thing was, I can remember a few episodes in, and obviously knowing Richard Harrow and seeing the half mask he had to wear to cover his disfigurement. Checking the credits at the end to see who played him and Googling him to find out what he really looked like. And thinking, oh my God, he's a really good looking bloke. But the thing is, he normally has quite long hair as well. Of course, it was cut fairly short, at least sort of the back and sides. And so, seeing him with the long hair like that, he would make a fantastic Crow.
And I think he does good voice work as well. Does a lot of that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Very good. So I think that's exciting news.
That's
I think
good.
that's very exciting news. Next up on the list, my friend, we have Neil Blomkamp.
Oh, yes.
The director of District 9, which I always nearly say District 13. But it's not, is it?
It's not.
It's District 9. What do you think Neil Blomkamp's doing next? Because I know you don't use the internet, so you would know this.
District 10.
No, he's going to do the new Alien film.
Right.
Which, reportedly, he wants it to follow on more from Alien and Aliens.
Yes!
So, it looks like we're going to get a degree of retconning with the Alien 3, Alien Resurrection. I don't think he's necessarily going to scrap the... he's not necessarily going to do a Days of Future Past and say, these don't exist anymore. But I think his film is very much going to follow on directly from Aliens.
I mean, I've gone on record as saying that the reason I dislike Alien 3 so much, and I've even gone as far as to say I prefer Alien Resurrection, which is a bit of a joke film, but is that, you're not even past the titles, and they've immediately killed the two characters that made Aliens, gave it the heart and made it what it was. Hicks and Newt are dead before the titles are over, and that is why I dislike that film so vehemently. Yeah. So if he's going to actually go back and carry on that story from Aliens, and
I mean, I love District 9. I didn't see Districts 1 through 8, but District 9 was very, very good. He's a fabulous director. He's got a film Chappie, which looks fabulous. Of course, Chappie, looks really good. Looks really, really good. In fact, Wolverine with a mullet as well. Hugh Jackman with a brilliant mullet in it. This excites me. I like the idea because I love the Alien. I love the Alien world. I love the Alien franchise. I think it's a good, great characters that need to have more said. And maybe let's forget what happened in the other ones for a bit. Eh?
Yeah, absolutely. No, looking forward to that. That sounds good.
Yes. What else have we got this week in the Monkey Farm? Well, Spidey's back in the Marvel universe. The Marvel Cinematic Universe.
He is.
But I tell you what, the news is, Graham.
Go on, Scott.
The news is, my friend, will it be Peter Parker or will it be Miles Morales?
Oh, interesting. Now, those who don't know who Miles Morales is. We touched last week on the Ultimate Universe, which is almost a spin-off of the normal Marvel Universe, where they basically sort of retold the stories but in slightly different ways. So
to appeal to a younger audience, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. It was launched back in 2000, and with much acclaim. You had started off with Ultimate Spider-Man and Ultimate X-Men, and then you went into the Ultimates, which was their version of the Avengers, which of course is what gave us the Samuel Jackson Nick Fury character. Yeah. That was where that character was first introduced. Now, Peter Parker was the normal Spider-Man in Ultimate Spider-Man, but in issue 160 he died. He was fighting the Green Goblin and he was killed, and then a new Spider-Man came in called Miles Morales.
Most notable for the fact that A, he's a Latino.
Yes, indeed. And
B, he was gay as well, wasn't he?
Was he?
I believe the character. Okay. I think. You know more about it than me. Okay. I think the character was gay.
Just trying to stuff in as many minorities into the character.
Well, this is it, yeah, which I don't think is necessary, ever. But I think the backlash that's come out from the Sony emails, the leak, as it were, the obviously the racial abuse, the outright despicable way that certain members of the Sony higher-ups spoke about some of their group of actors that they employ. Shit hit the fan, let's put it that way, and I think this is a massive backpedal on their part.
This is a reaction to that.
When they first released the news of Spidey coming back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I believe the statement said somewhere along the lines of, we need to find a way to further Peter Parker's story, and we think this is going to be the best way to do it. Now, that obviously would suggest to some people, it's a shoo-in, it's going to be Peter Parker. But then again, Miles Morales was very much part of Peter Parker's ultimate universe.
Now, of course, one thing we have to make clear is that this is a loan, isn't it? This is a loan deal. So therefore, Sony, who own the rights to Spider-Man, are effectively saying that Marvel can have him for the next Captain America film, which is Captain America Civil War.
Yep.
Because in the comics, Spider-Man played quite a central part in the Civil War storyline. I obviously won't spoil it for anyone who hasn't experienced that. But after that, he will go back to Sony, and Sony will reboot the franchise with their Spider-Man character. So we don't know who it's going to be, what it's going to be, but it's interesting that because of that, it seems like they're going to be pretty faithful to the Civil War storyline if they need Spider-Man to be in it. And that does mean that obviously there's a huge knock-on of that involving Captain America and Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes. So it will be interesting to see how far they're prepared to take that in terms of sticking to the comic storyline. So yeah, very interesting.
It is. It's again, as we said last week, exciting times for geeks.
Yes,
very exciting times for geeks.
Hugely.
It's going to be interesting to see who they get to play Spidey.
Yeah,
because I think unfortunately Andrew Garfield's time has come and gone.
Oh, he's gone definitely.
I love Andrew Garfield. I think he's a brilliant actor. I think it was very sad that those two films were so poorly mishandled.
Yeah.
Because he could have been a great Peter Parker, stroke Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the material didn't allow it.
No.
So we'll just have to wait and see on that one. Staying with comics, or the comic universe, Jared Leto, who
Oscar-winning
Jared Leto. Now, what did he win the Oscar for? It was Dallas Buyers
Club. Yep.
For dressing as a woman.
Yes.
So we know he likes makeup, and we know he likes dressing up. So obviously he's up. He's not up for the role. He's got the role. He is going to be our new Joker.
Yeah.
And obviously we remember all the furore when Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker.
And this is in the Suicide Squad.
This is in the Suicide Squad film. Yes, sorry, I should have said that. We remember all the furore with Ledger being cast as a Joker and how crap everyone said he was going to be, and then he ended up being, mind-blowingly good.
And a career-defining role.
Yeah. And won a posthumous Oscar for it.
He did, yes.
Am I right in saying the only Oscar ever won for a superhero film portrayal?
Quite possibly,
I think it is.
Yeah, I'll be very surprised.
But what's interesting to me about this is it's just been reported that Jared Leto is apparently beefing up to play the role of the Joker by eating vegan tacos, and that's not a sexy euphemism. I wish it were. I really wish it were. I've never seen a fat Joker or a bulky Joker.
Yeah, but beefing up means muscle. It doesn't mean fat, does it? But
I suppose, yeah.
Well,
actually, I say beefing. I've said beefing up. I believe the report said gaining weight.
Right.
Now, gaining weight to me means just you getting fat.
Yeah, but Jared Leto is famously very thin anyway.
He's quite a wiry dude, yeah. Apart from in the John Lennon shooting movie.
Right.
Okay. I can't remember the name of it. Chapter 24, I think it's called.
But maybe it's simply that due to the physicality of the role, he's actually having to bulk up and actually muscle up in order to deal with the physical demands of the role. I don't know.
But the Joker himself is a wiry character, isn't he?
He is, but...
Every interpretation I've seen of him anyway.
Yes, yeah. But I would imagine that the physical requirements of the role means that, yes, Joker's wiry, but he's going to need to be a bit more physically beefy in order to...
I'm glad I spoke to you about this, because I evidently took the whole gaining weight thing in the complete wrong way, didn't I? Well, all I had in my mind was
Fat Joker, yes.
Was the clown from Spawn.
Right, okay.
Yeah. John Leguizamo, I think, played him, didn't he?
Yes,
in the Spawn movie.
Yes.
God, that was a fucking terrible film, wasn't it?
It wasn't great.
Spawn's coming back as well, but I digress anyway.
I wasn't a big fan of the comic, if I'm honest.
No, not really. It's just, I've done Venom. What should I do now?
Yeah.
Oh, let's do something that looks slightly like... go away. Go away and make some toys and be brilliant. What else have we got for you this week? We have got Harrison Ford is confirmed for Blade Runner, the new Blade Runner film.
Right.
After this, all he needs to do now is play Jack Ryan, and then he will have revisited every franchise that he's done, I think, won't he?
I'm sort of...
It's one of them, isn't it? It's like, do we really need that? I know we've spoken previously about things like Mad Max, and you know, is it needed sort of thing? Yeah,
I'm starting to feel your pain. I know that I've given you so much stick about remakes of Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Friday the 13th and Halloween, although that one, you know, was a bit too close to home for me as well. But they're starting to touch some stuff, and okay, a lot of it isn't reboot; it's actually sort of continuing. You know,
and this will be a continuation. Yes, it's not.
But
a reboot.
Is Hollywood so lacking in original stories? And I can't believe that's the case. I mean, for God's sake, Hollywood writers visit the Marvel and the DC offices, and it doesn't have to be superheroes. There's so much good stuff. There's so much talent there. There's so much great stories yet to be told. You know, why are we getting Blade Runner 2 when we've never had a Why the Last Man film? It beggars belief, but they're starting to go back and actually, whether it's rebooting or sequeling, remaking. But
maybe Ridley Scott has actually just gone, well, George Miller's done it, hasn't he, for Mad Max?
Yeah, but he's rebooting the franchise. He's starting again with a different actor. But then Mad Max was such a sprawling tale, whereas Blade Runner had a beginning, a middle, and an end. You know, it was a perfect story. It's a great sci-fi noir film.
It's a great moment in time, and that's why it should remain.
But it's like, and again, to go slightly off topic, I don't know whether you were going to mention this, but the Ghostbusters reboot.
Let's not go there just yet.
The all-female Ghostbusters.
This does not make me misogynist for saying...
No, but people are slamming the haters of this as saying you're sexist, and it's like, no, you know, I think Kristen Wiig is brilliant, you know, and I think she's a funny and talented actress, you know. Melissa McCarthy, I haven't seen all her stuff, but she's entertaining. She can clearly act and be funny. I'm not overly aware of the other two. I think they're both Saturday Night Live, aren't they?
I believe so, yeah.
But the director of Bridesmaids is now saying, right, okay, you know, we're going to do a female Ghostbusters. And it's like, you're doing it for the sake of doing it. But it isn't the fact that you're doing it with a female cast that offends me. It's the fact that you're needing to do it at all. You know, even Ghostbusters 2 didn't really need to happen.
Bill Murray famously hated every minute of it, didn't he?
You know, and I just think Ghostbusters is such a great film, and Blade Runner was such a great film, and they told a story, and that's all that needed to be done. And let's move on. And you want to make a film with the cast of Bridesmaids again, make one.
Yeah.
But do something original. Start it again. Give them their own story that they can be funny and they can invent, and they, you know, rather than people judging them against a previous piece of work that is 30 years old but is also hugely beloved. I don't understand.
Let them create something of their own.
Absolutely.
The way Murray, Aykroyd, Ramis,
precisely. You know, so therefore you aren't having a comparison. People aren't saying, well, this wasn't as good as the original Ghostbusters because of this, but this was better because of this. Give them something original. Why do you need to rehash it? I don't understand why the constant need now. And it seems to be the 80s more than any other period where they're revisiting all the classic horrors. Now they're going through all the, you know, it'll just be rehashing every blooming popular film from there and making a modern version. How about making modern versions of modern, new, fresh stories? I don't get it.
Because there's certainly enough stories out there. I mean, you've only got to look at indie comics, you know, indie films, even to a lesser extent, like fan work.
Yes.
Some of the like the fanboy pieces that are out there are really genuinely very good,
and it just beggars belief.
But so 1982's Blade Runner will be getting a sequel. It is confirmed. Harrison Ford's on board. Denis Villeneuve, who directed Prisoners from a few years back with Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal, not a bad film, well directed. He's on board to direct, and that's looking to start shooting in summer 2016. Finally,
moving on.
Moving on swiftly, because I can see you've gone red, you've got angry, you've got yourself, the windows have all steamed up in here. It's not gone well. Finally, this will make you smile. The newly rebooted Star Wars issue 1.
Yes.
The highest selling comic in 20 years.
Absolutely. Since Marvel did all the Spider-Man and X-Men relaunches at the start of the 90s and all the Image stuff that spun on there.
That's astonishing, isn't it?
No comic has sold 1 million copies, and yet issue 1 of Star Wars did. And okay, it had lots of variant covers, but it just goes to show that people are still very, very excited about Star Wars. And
very much so. I mean, Darth and Leia have got their own little standalone titles as well. Yeah. And are there any other characters who've got standalone? Is there a Boba Fett?
Funny enough, one thing they're doing, I think it's The Last Padawan or something. But
I hate the word Padawan.
It's from another series, but I think the feeling is that obviously Marvel were the ones who originally published the Star Wars comics back in sort of 77 through to, I think it was about 85.
With all the fabulous art from Howard
Chaykin. Yes, did the actual adaptation of Star Wars. But yeah, they published it through all 3 films and beyond, and introduced
those beautiful big bumper issues like the one
They did bring out Treasury editions of the early ones.
Is that what they're called? I never knew that's what they were called.
Treasury editions, yeah. And the franchise obviously went to Dark Horse, because basically the whole thing died on its arse, and Dark Horse brought out Dark Empire, and that suddenly revitalised some of the interest, and Dark Horse has been publishing ever since. But it coming back to Marvel, I think the feeling is very much that Star Wars is coming home. And funny enough that every Marvel title in January had a variant cover, which were called the Welcome Home Star Wars covers, which was the characters from the comic all queuing up in a cinema.
Oh, that's quite sweet, isn't it?
To go and see.
Was there a variant cover that just had the words "cash in" written on it?
No.
Or "We saw you coming," like the Harry. I joke. I joke.
But I just think it is great that the reaction has been what it is. I mean, one thing I will say is there was some beautiful variant covers of the Star Wars comics, which were based on the action figures. So therefore, the comic cover actually looked like the
Kenner toys carved from.
Yeah, it was the blister pack with the figure on it, and they looked beautiful, and it was a proper reproduction of the action figure, and that was a beautiful thing. But for Star Wars fans to be coming to comics, obviously, it wasn't just the comic fans who put these numbers up. So the interest is still there. People are chomping at the bit, and I think therefore when The Force Awakens does come out in December, it's going to be huge.
I will say one thing about this. Do you think that this inflation in sales has anything to do with collectors possibly buying job
lots? Certainly. I mean, 1 million copies were sold. You can guarantee that they weren't bought by 1 million people. They were probably bought by about 400,000 people.
Yeah.
But because they brought out so many variant covers, there was literally, to issue 1 you had sort of normal ones, you had sketch ones, and there was probably about sort of 20 odd covers of that. And there are collectors out there.
I think people forget as well, don't they, that comics aren't expensive things really. When they're first released, they're £4 or £5.
Well, no, they're not even that. You normally buy a normal cover. I think it's Star Wars, the normal covers were going for £3.25, but of course what you get is the limited variants.
Yeah.
So therefore you get the 1 in 25s, the 1 in 50, where for every 50 of the normal cover there's only 1 of this one, and therefore the prices of those do go up, and people sell those for 5, 10, 20, 30, 50 quid, But unfortunately you will get the inevitable speculators, and of course the comic retailers will try and pump that up. But it is the fact that you buy it because you think it will go up in money, but you have to realise that when there's 1 million comics out there, the chances of them actually growing in value is pretty slim. The speculator boom of the early 90s almost destroyed the comic industry.
I believe you once said to me that things are only ever worth what people are prepared to pay for.
Absolutely. But that's true in anything. Yeah. So in comics, you will find that people will buy things for a tenner because they think they're going to be worth 50 quid, and then suddenly, they find when they go to sell them, people only want to pay a £5 for them. And that's the nature of the beast. But funny enough, one thing that did hold their value, because I think they were massively underordered, was the action figure variants. And you can see that the action figure variant of issue 1 sold for, let's say, £3.25. And it's probably going for about 15 quid now on eBay.
So that's a good markup. The Star Wars franchise is certainly not the first thing I think of when I think of comics, but I can't think of a better franchise to have the beautiful award of selling over 1 million copies, Absolutely. The biggest selling comic in 20 years. So well done to Star Wars, and long may they prosper. So that's pretty much all I got for you this week. So if you'd be so kind as to get the hell out of my monkey farm.
Okay, now we'll move on to this week's Quick Hits.
Quick Hits.
Scott, what have you got this week?
This week, I've got something that I've been waiting for a long time for, and I have now finally got. Dying Light, which is a new PS4 title. It was released over a month ago now, digitally, but they didn't release physical copies of it until just recently. I have now got myself a copy after trudging my way through Shadow of Mordor and Far Cry 4. Mordor. Just so I could get to this moment, which for me, this is the highlight of the gaming year so far for me, because it's zombies. It's made by a company called Techland, who people may know from a couple of titles, the Dead Island titles.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you remember those. I don't know if you ever got a chance to play them.
I played the first Dead Island.
Did you like the first Dead Island?
I liked it.
If you like that, then you'd absolutely...
I like it a lot.
You'd adore Dying Light, because it does everything that Dead Island did, but 100 times better.
Okay.
Plus, as well, they've added into the mix parkour, so you've got a bit of free running. So if you like that opening scene of Casino Royale, or if you liked District 13, or the remake Brick Mansions, then you'll love Dying Light, because there's lots of parkour, jumping up and down things. You've got to craft items. All the stuff from the original Dead Island has come back to this title as well, where you can craft melee weapons that have got electrical currents running through them and things like that. It's a beautiful game.
It does sound very Dead Island, yeah, because you had that sort of thing in there.
But here's the kicker.
Go on.
All right, so where Dead Island, you knew where you're at, your zombies or your zombies. This is a very specific type of zombie. So during the day, they're quite docile. Or docile, however you want to pronounce it. Yeah. As the light begins to die, as it were, and the sun goes down, they all become a little bit more active, and they can now follow you further upwards in the map, as it were. So they begin to climb. You get some real nasty bastards chasing you.
What's the reason behind that? Why does darkness?
Because they become more agitated during the nighttime periods.
Okay.
It's really scary. It's genuinely really scary. I didn't think I'd say this, because I thought I'd play it and I'd go, yeah, it's Dead Island. But adding that dynamic of the day to night transfer, and then having you basically just plunged into complete darkness. You have a torch, but you try running around with a torch on and looking to where you've got to go and climbing up buildings. It's just an out and out run for your life while all these things are chasing you.
I don't know if this is a dumb question, but how long in real time does night time last?
It's not real time, obviously. It's
there will be
probably about 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
About 10-15 minutes.
Okay.
And obviously you get little awards if you succeed the night. You can get to safe zones as well, where you can sort of like just chill for a bit. If you wish to, you can in certain safe zones you can sleep, and that just you'll wake up the next morning and then the zombies are all calmed down again. And there are particular zombies that only come out at night that fire these awesome tendril things out of their hands, and it's just beautiful. It's just an absolutely stunning game. I haven't even scratched the surface of it yet.
You haven't finished it?
Oh, no, I've literally only just started it. But already, after playing it, I think I've played for about 5 hours, and I'm sold already. It's a fabulous, fabulous game. I shall look forward to any DLC that they release, because I think that'll be very exciting. You can also play as the zombie, which is nice. There's some online modes, but for me, it's all about the single player at the moment. I just want to be able to plough through, kill zombies, make cool weapons. It's a game just designed specifically for me. I love it.
Sounds good. Okay. My one this week is a title that was published by DC probably about 10 or so years ago. I'm not sure exactly when it was, but I bought it in the individual issues, and then as they released it in hardcovers, I bought the hardcover collections. It's also available in trade paperback. And sort of tying in slightly to the Warner Brothers TV show, it's Gotham Central, which tells the story of obviously the Gotham City Police Department, and obviously the corruption that goes on within it. So you've got some very dodgy characters in there, you've got some very sort of straight playing characters in there, but one thing that's good about the book that it lacks is Batman. It's obviously set in the modern times, so Batman is out there as the Dark Knight, but they just focus on the police. Batman might suddenly whiz through a panel, but they focus very much on the police and the hard job that they have trying to maintain order within Gotham with the fact that there's so many supervillains and the fact that Batman can't be everywhere at all times.
And this predates the Gotham TV show.
Very much.
It came out way before.
Yeah. As I say, this came out. It was published probably about 10 or so years ago.
So this surely must have been source material for the show.
Very much so. Yes.
Okay. So have you got like your Loeb and all those characters in there? And...
What you've obviously got Harvey Bullock. Two characters you do have are Renee Montoya and Crispus Allen, which are obviously the two clean cops who are
the only true clean cops,
absolutely, who are in Gotham. They are sort of some of the main stories that run through it. You've also got Maggie Sawyer is the chief who came over from Metropolis. She was known within the Superman comics, and she sort of came over to Gotham.
Because I suppose once you've been in Metropolis, you can actually only transfer to another city that's got a made-up name.
Well, of course, all DC cities have fictional names.
They do.
You don't have real cities. It's all Central City, Star City, Gotham City, Metropolis.
Starling City? Is that Arrow?
No, Arrow is Star City. I think it's Starling City in the TV show, but it's
I see.
Star.
Okay, so
you've obviously got Opal City. The Flash is Central City.
Central City with Star Labs.
Yes,
I see.
It's written all the way through by two great crime writers, Ed Brubaker, who had a very famous run on Captain America, but also has written the criminal title, and Greg Rucka, who's done an awful lot of crime stuff as well. And the two of them have sort of shared the writing duties, and I have to say it's absolutely fabulous. The first volume, you've got Mr. Freeze, you've got Two-Face. The second one, you've got Joker.
So, I mean, I just pick it up on the fact that you did say right at the beginning, you said it's most notable for not featuring Batman.
Yeah.
But the Rose Gallery's there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, well, brilliant. I like that.
Well, as I say, the thing is that what it's showing is how hard it is, because Batman can't be everywhere at all times, and yet, because of Batman, there's all these supervillains, therefore the cops have to deal with the supervillains.
Certain amount of clean-up.
And it's mainly drawn by Michael Lark, and I think his style absolutely suits the grittiness. It's very sort of dark pencils.
It's a very 60s style. Artwork.
Yeah, I mean, Lark famously had a big run with Ed Brubaker on Daredevil later on, but he's a great artist. And it is about how they're struggling against the supervillains. It is about how they're struggling with all the internal corruption. And there's some great stories in there. I mean, one of the stories is that Robin shows up dead on a rooftop, and then
which iteration of Robin is it?
The fact, well,
I don't actually know. No. Don't spoil it for me or anyone.
I'm not going to ruin it for you. If you want to find out how and why Robin died, you need to pick it up. It's available in 4 volumes. When it was initially published, it ran for 40 issues, and I have to say, it was one of those titles that I think, because it didn't feature Batman, a lot of people didn't pick it up because they thought, oh, it's just a police thing, it isn't interesting. But I have to say, as storytelling goes, as a finite 40-issue series, it is so good. It's dark, it's gritty, there's plenty of violence in there, and plenty of supervillains showing up, and a real shock ending as well to finish it off.
I imagine that the 10 odd years ago when that was first released, people were probably saying the same sort of thing about that they were saying just previously when the Gotham TV show was released.
Yes.
What? No Batman?
Yeah.
Why are you calling it Gotham? What? This makes no sense.
Absolutely.
But I think they've more than proved with Gotham that it works, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So, without a doubt.
And this was obviously their test.
Yes. But it's a shame, because I think with the Gotham TV series, now is probably a better time for something like this to come out. But of course, they would have it set in the past when there's no Batman. Whereas the thing about this was, I mean, like I say, Batman does show up a couple of times, but most of the time he's sort of referred to in whispers, because a lot of them don't trust him, because they feel that he not only is he affecting their ability to do the job, but he's the one who's actually attracting all the supervillains who are therefore causing problems with the police.
Well, maybe the hope is that if this current Gotham TV show goes well, then they might incorporate some of the stories from this later on down the line.
Maybe so.
I did read very briefly on the back of there that they make mention to Montoya being outed as a lesbian.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which, when I saw in the Gotham TV show, I kind of thought, well, I've never heard any reference to her being a lesbian.
Oh yeah,
but that's evidently where they've got it from, I assume. Oh, good stuff. That's something I'd like to read.
Yes.
I genuinely would like to read.
So it's available. It's in 4 volumes. It's probably the hardcovers are all gone now, but you can certainly pick it up in trade paperback. It's Gotham Central, written by Ed Brubaker and Greg Rucka, with fantastic art by Michael Lark. Give it a shout.
What excellent stuff.
Okay, now we'll move on to this episode's main topic.
Oh, it's the main topic.
Obviously, zombies are something that's very popular in modern culture at the moment. Lots of movies and TV shows going on. So we just wanted to talk about the return of one and a brand new other. Zombie shows that have hit our TV screens recently. Obviously, we've had the return of The Walking Dead after the mid-season break.
Some of the best episodes yet, I think, as well.
Yes, well, okay, we'll discuss that.
Okay.
And we've also got, I guess it had to happen eventually, a zombie reality show, which has started on BBC Three, and it's called I Survived a Zombie Apocalypse.
I respect it so little, I've not even spelled apocalypse right on my notes.
And I'll be honest, when I first saw the trailer, which was zombies behind a glass door and a girl with her back to the door holding it shut, and she was saying, it's only a game, it's only a game, it's only a game. And I didn't realise it was a reality show. I thought her saying it's only a game was her literally sort of trying to convince herself. And then it said, coming soon, I survived a zombie apocalypse. And I thought, hey, that sounds really cool. It's sort of, going a bit hardcore. But then it did turn out to be a reality show. It was basically Big Brother with zombies.
Or are they going to put a fast one on us and it is going to all be made up? Do you see where I'm going with this?
No, what do you mean made up?
Now, yeah, for all intent and purpose, when you watch it, it is Big Brother, isn't it?
Yes.
Very much so.
For anybody who hasn't seen it, effectively it's a reality show set against a fictional background where, due to is it 5G?
It is. It's a ridiculous reason to create zombies. It's stupid. Yeah, but I'll just calm myself down.
Then, how else do you come up with it other than?
Well, you don't explain it. How Romero did it.
Okay,
but.
Well, Romero did that. There were news reports about sort of solar this.
Yeah, but it's not an explanation. It's just that was just a news report that's happening in the background. It could be linked.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes.
I think you can probably tell who the zombie fan is, or the one who's most passionate about this conversation.
And effectively, the setup of a 5G mobile.
That's ridiculous. Sorry.
So the setup of a new 5G Wi-Fi for mobile phones, and it led to there being issues with it apparently frying people's brains and therefore turning them into zombies, and therefore there's been a huge zombie apocalypse. And what you've got is a band of survivors who all turn up Big Brother style, obviously they're not cheered in, to an abandoned shopping centre on the Scottish border. And it's just surrounded by zombies, and it's all people made up as zombies, and therefore these people get into this place and they've got various tasks that they have to carry out in order to survive. Like in the first episode they had to go and get bedding, which was in a shop that had been used as a morgue, so there was lots of dead bodies about the place.
That annoyed me because he left 2 of the sleeping bags behind.
Right, okay.
It really pissed me off, that did.
Then they had to get food, and it's all about the thing in water. It's the things they have to do to survive, set against the fact that wherever they're going there's zombies. And Scott, what do you think?
Do you know, I really want to like it because this is it.
I don't think you do, though.
No, this is my.
You are such a zombie purist that I don't think you believe that a zombie reality show could and should be.
Right, it seems to me that they've had a really good idea, and they've had a really great opportunity to reference and to homage and to lavish love over previous zombie outings. I mean, yeah, there's little things in it, like the shopping centre is called the Monroe Shopping Centre, isn't it? So, for those of you who don't know, Monroeville Mall is where Dawn of the Dead was shot. So there's little nods to things, but for me, I hate Big Brother, okay? I hate watching TV programmes with people who think they should be TV stars. And this definitely has got that. I mean, in the first episode, we were introduced to the little lad who queued up to meet Lady Gaga.
Yes.
Who, the moment he opened his mouth, I was watching it with a friend. I just went, "He's dead. He's going to die in an extraordinarily short amount of time. He will die." But you can't make those guesses in this show because it's a reality show. So it's almost like they've given you this cast of characters who do very much fit the cliched character. You know, like the jock, the sexy girl, or in this one the transsexual,
yeah.
Which that was a shock because I was halfway through. they've very much given you all these characters that you kind of recognise from being characters in films. You know,
I don't know. See, I disagree. To me, it is just people have applied. They've obviously auditioned them, but it isn't like they've got each of the stereotypes required. What they've got is they've just got people who they think will be able to do it, but have different enough personalities that they're going to cause friction, and therefore within it you do have the Big Brother scenario whereby people are going to piss each other off, and it is going to be hard. But then wouldn't you find that within a zombie apocalypse, if you were to end up holed up with 9 other people, you can guarantee that you all want to survive, you all want to get through it, but you're not going to like everybody. I think just chucking random people together and actually seeing how they get on, that's a good social experiment. But of course what you're not doing is voting off the unpopular ones, the people who die. And it was interesting that you said, because yes, that guy, the quite camp one,
he did
spoilers, he was killed in the second episode, but even though he was annoying the others because he was quite a forthright and outgoing personality, when they said, right, okay, we need somebody to go to do quite a dangerous mission, he was well up for it. And the reason he died was basically bad luck. He died because the girl who he went out with was such a coward that the moment it went south, she ran, which means they had to kill him. He actually died because he had the guts and he had the balls to get out there and do it.
See, now you say that, but I think he died because he was a bit too Bertie Big Balls. And when they went into that room, first thing he said was, right, I'll do this one because it's the hardest one. And it's almost like he was saying to that girl, you're thick as shit, but you're fast. So you go to that one.
It's interesting, but yes, there's a certain amount of Bertie Big Balls about him, but I thought that it was a fact that he realised she was shitting it and was probably going to stumble over anything she did, and therefore he thought, right, okay, you do the piss easy one and I'll do the hard one. He kept telling her to calm down. He clearly thought, right, if we keep a level head, we can do this,
knowing this isn't real.
But again, the good thing is, because no one died in episode 1, but 2 people were killed in episode 2, and at least they get to have a bit of fun, because when the zombies do catch them and attack them, the people do get to spit blood and have a bit of fun and have a bit of a violent death.
I had a bit of a problem with that as well, if I'm honest. I'm kind of took me out of it a bit, but I suppose I can see it from an entertainment point of view.
But it's to me, it isn't for our entertainment; it's for their entertainment, because they're in it, they're going through it, and therefore they're saying, "Sorry, you're going to die, but I tell you what, we're going to give you a mouthful of blood capsules. You can split it out, and you can have a right fighting, gory death."
Yeah.
So it's actually allowing them to have a bit of fun with it, because obviously they're all putting themselves through this shit for 7 days. But one thing that I found, the whole Big Brother thing aside, and we've discussed this before, when I went to see the Zack Snyder remake of Dawn of the Dead at the cinema, the zombies, for some reason, more than anything else, I get so immersed in it. It's such an immersive experience that when I came out the cinema, I was genuinely surprised not to see zombies roaming the streets. And I was like, oh shit, okay, we're back in the real world.
And, it's a good film, it's a good remake.
And I find that with this, I know that it's all, the makeup effects are very good.
Yeah, can't fault that.
The only thing I would say is not every zombie has to walk like their legs don't work properly. Some of them will probably be fresher zombies. They're all overacting the zombie part. Some of them could just shuffle along normally, but they're all sort of walking with their legs at funny angles or wide apart. And I just think they almost need to tell the zombies to tone it down a little bit, but some of them are very good and some of them are shit scary. And what I do find is, even though it's piss annoying bastards, who are all having a fight, when they have to go out and do something, when the zombies show up, I do generally go, oh shit, it's a fucking zombie, even though it's a reality show, even though it isn't real, just that zombie experience. So I can only imagine what it's like for them being there. And I think with anything, with stuff like that,
I think I'd love it.
You have to suspend disbelief. Yeah.
I think I'd love it, and I would get involved, and I'd be like, well, look, they've got to do this and this and this.
Yeah.
But I would ask you this: in the second episode,
the
lad gets killed, doesn't he? In the shop.
Yeah.
Now those zombies can't see, can they?
No.
They've just got very acute hearing.
Yes.
Sorry. Have you ever seen that in any other zombie film?
No.
I have. Not a film, a game.
Okay.
Very, very popular, very famous now game, The Last of Us.
Okay.
They gave us a breed of zombies called the Clickers, who've just got deformities over their eyes so they can't see.
Yeah.
And they're all like that.
Yeah, I remember you telling.
It strikes me, and I've never seen them anywhere apart from The Last of Us. It strikes me that the people who have made this show have gone, right, let's take all the ideas that we think are the best from...
Yeah, but
what's wrong with that? No, it's not a bad thing.
What's wrong with that? I mean, what are they supposed to do? Create entirely new zombies?
No, I would
for this thing.
For me, I would have just kept it as straight out and out.
But also,
zombies.
these aren't clickers. These aren't things with gross on their head that they can't see. The idea is that the 5G signal has actually fried their brains so much that their eyes have exploded.
Yeah. All right. As per usual, Graham, you have calmed me down.
Good.
And I'll take that.
Cool.
My biggest problem I've got with I Survived a Zombie Apocalypse is the 5G Wi-Fi being the cause. I think it is an absolutely ridiculous thing to have as a... How could a Wi-Fi signal...
But how can a zombie apocalypse come about? This is it. They're just trying to come up with a modern reason for doing it.
All open
and
to
therefore
interpretation.
having a phone signal, or a Wi-Fi signal for your phone.
But this is not to say that I will not watch it. I will watch I will watch every episode of it. And you're right, things are open to interpretation. This is just not how I would have interpreted it. And the annoying thing is, I think if people like you or I or any one of our friends who was into a similar thing was brought on board to kind of help flesh this out, it would have been so much better, because there's evidently a lot of people who've done this who don't know enough about the source material. I think
to a certain extent, but I think they've had a good crack at it. I'll watch it. Is it brilliant?
Will watch it.
No, but it's a bit of fun.
It's good. It's good. It's better than most stuff that's on terrestrial TV. Let's put it this way. And
Absolutely.
I think we've needed a show like this for a while.
Definitely.
There's definitely no denying with the I Survived a Zombie Apocalypse that it's been made by people who've got a love of the genre. All right. Yeah. But I just don't feel that their love and their knowledge is strong enough of the genre to have made this a successful show for me.
Yeah, but then you have to realise that this is something that's made for a specific audience. This is something that's probably made for teens.
Yeah.
We are watching it because we like zombies.
Yeah,
we aren't Big Brother fans. We wouldn't watch that. This is sort of a bit of a social experiment with a zombie background, and we probably aren't the target audience. The people who are the target audience probably won't have the knowledge of zombies that we have, and certainly you have. And therefore, I'm loath to be too harsh in it, because I just think the idea of a zombie reality show, I would be kind of meh, but yet watching it when they're all together, I'm kind of like, come on, get on. Be it when the zombies are there, and some of the zombies are proper shit scary.
Zombies are brilliantly done, isn't it? It's good makeup.
This is alright. At the end of the day, one person's going to win. They have to be there for 7 days before they're rescued. One person's going to win, and I'm just interested to see the journey that it takes.
Yeah, I'd rather watch this than another TV show about making cakes.
Indeed, absolutely. The Great British Zombie Off.
Indeed.
And then on to The Walking Dead.
What, you mean a proper zombie show?
A proper zombie show.
A proper zombie show,
yes, indeed. So it's come back from the mid-season break. We're several episodes in. What have you made of it?
I'll tell you what. There's very few shows, because I binge watch a lot of shows. Obviously Netflix and Amazon, great for that. There's very few shows that I've watched over the years that just gets consistently better each episode. Now, obviously Walking Dead did have a little bit of a lull, didn't it? About halfway through its 3rd season, I think, was a little bit
okay.
But since it's come back, I don't know whether it was because I was in such anticipation of it coming back, or just didn't have anything that was filling my zombie hole, as it were.
Hey.
The episodes that we've had thus far, have just been absolutely jaw-dropping. I'm absolutely enamoured with everyone in the troupe at the moment, as it were. In particular, I'm loving the character whose name always escapes me. Is it Abraham?
Oh, okay, yes,
yeah. He's the redhead guy.
Yes.
He basically he's just such a good character.
Right.
He's such a brilliant character. I love his strong silentness, and most interestingly for me about it coming back this time is the fact that Rick now just don't give a shit, does he? He is not letting anyone near his own family and his adopted family.
Clearly, he is once bitten, twice shy. The whole sort of walking to Terminus and everything that happened there. Clearly, he's just like, right, we treat everybody as an enemy, and probably will never stop doing that. No matter how much people may start to gain their trust. Now, it's interesting you saying that about it getting better, because I felt that the whole first half of season storyline, with the characters at the hospital and that sort of thing, and I thought that was well done. And obviously it ended with the demise of Beth in what I thought was a slightly bizarre fashion, because
it was bizarre because she didn't have her gun out, did she?
Precisely. It was almost like, had she had the gun out, then surely the others would all have had their gun out. And
they'd have all been packing at the same time, wouldn't
and
they?
Therefore, the whole thing would have turned into a massive shootout, which would have killed more than one character. So obviously they thought, right, okay, we need a way around this. But I felt when we came back from the mid-season break, I felt it started quite poorly. I was a bit disappointed. To me, it was too slow. I felt the whole Tyrese episode, and particularly with his hallucinations,
I liked that.
I couldn't stand it. I thought it was slow. I thought it was convoluted. It was quite clear what was going to happen, and I just felt it was an odd way of doing it. It felt strange, particularly coming back. He wanted to come back with a bang, and I think what they thought was right. The last episode we killed Beth. They're not going to expect us to kill anyone this episode, so let's surprise them by killing another main character. And to me, it was kind of, just get on with it. I didn't understand why you needed the whole hallucination bit. And then the next episode, I don't know whether the makers were trying to bore us to make us empathise with how bored the characters were by having to walk all the way, because it was just, okay, the car's or van or whatever is broken down. Now we just need to walk, and let's walk a bit more, and here comes a load of zombies, and let's kill them. And, to me, the zombies have stopped being a threat. They're almost like a minor inconvenience. The zombies to them have become what the Alien became to me in the Alien Isolation game, which
only
is
a threat in numbers.
Which is, here comes another one, all I'm going to do is stab it in the head with this knife, and, oh, watch out, I might have to save that because that person's head isn't in the game, sort of thing. And it was just that, and it was only the end when that bloke showed up. And then, of course, you've got him and, everything that's gone on since. And I think now it's starting to ramp back up. But I thought for those 2 episodes, and I know that...
I liked seeing Sasha kind of lose it. I liked her being so desperate to show her anger at what's gone on that it's making her cock up a bit. It's making her...
Drop the ball.
I like that. And I think that needs to be shown because, real people aren't zombie hunters. Real people aren't superheroes.
Of course not.
And that needs to be shown a bit more. And I think it maybe lost that a little bit along the way. And I think they needed to show that. Yeah, for me, they did anyway. And I like the way it's fleshed those characters out.
I don't, and obviously in a zombie apocalypse, there's going to be some bits where you just get from A to B and you come across stuff, and not everything is going to be high octane excitement. But I just felt that for the first 2 episodes back, it was kind of sort of getting the momentum, and really, it was only the end of the episode 10, when that guy showed up, and as I say, with him sort of trying to gain their trust.
Our first gay character in The Walking Dead.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's right.
Which they made a big thing about. They made a big thing about it, but but I don't see why it's notable at all. No. If anything, I don't see why there haven't been other, people of different sexualities in the show already. If do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was not worth them noticing that in the press.
I didn't realise that the press had made a big deal.
Oh, they did, yeah. They were Walking Dead now has a gay character. It's like, well, yeah, but they've got a black character, and they've got children, they're just normal people. They're human beings, aren't they? That's what they are. And with the flashback episode, sorry, not the hallucinatory episode, I think that was done for one reason alone. I think they wanted David Morrissey back for a little bit. Yeah. And I thought he was brilliant.
To me, it was a waste.
Didn't like it, no?
The girls and Beth playing a guitar, I was like...
I can take or leave Beth playing the guitar. But the little girls are creepy as hell, though, aren't they? Especially the evil ones.
But I don't see what it did to take the story on. He'd been bitten, he was dying. I don't understand why they had to drag that out and,
Well, I think proof, once again, just there, that a show as big as this and as popular as this still has a divided audience, because, I loved it, and you weren't that sold on it.
Absolutely, but then it is a hugely entertaining, ongoing zombie TV show, and therefore The Walking Dead is one of the few shows I watch that can have a few bum episodes, and I'm never going to walk away, because it is such a hugely entertaining show, and deals with a subject matter that I'm very into. So, and as are many people, obviously.
I think most interestingly is that they've just reported that the season finale will be a full-on 90-minute extravaganza.
Cool.
So
excellent.
I don't think they've done that yet with The Walking Dead, apart from the first episode.
No,
the first episode was a feature length. It was about 60 minutes.
Quite possibly.
Quite possibly.
It was so bloody long ago.
But for me, The Walking Dead continues to go from strength to strength. Yeah. I hope it has many more steps to go.
Absolutely. Cool. Okay, well, I guess that's it for this week's episode. The next 2 episodes will be us reporting from the London Super Comic Con at Docklands XL, so we're very much looking forward to that.
We've got a palatial hotel room that we're sharing.
We certainly have.
Morecambe and Wise style for our older listeners.
But in the meantime, from myself, Graham.
And me, Scott.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.